Toxic products. Exposed data. Texas is making Shein answer for both. It would be easy to dismiss the Texas lawsuit against Shein as a political move. It's more than that. And if you've ever shopped there or your company sources from platforms like it, you have a stake in what this case is actually about. When Attorney General Ken Paxton filed suit against the fast fashion giant in February 2026, he described it as a two-pronged attack on consumers. One physical, one digital. The physical part involves what's actually inside Shein's products. The digital part involves what Shein does with the data of the people who buy them. For companies managing supply chains and for everyday shoppers scrolling through six tops on their phones, both sides of this case deserve a close look. What's in the clothes? Independent testing has found toxic chemicals in Shein products at levels that are hard to look past. Seoul Metropolitan Government investigators tested 93 Shein products and found that roughly half contained hazardous chemicals. One pair of shoes contained phthalates at 428 times the permitted limit. 3 bags tested at 153 times the legal threshold. Phthalates are chemicals used to soften plastics. They can be absorbed through direct skin contact, which happens every time you wear clothing that contains them. Some are suspected carcinogens and endocrine disruptors, meaning they can interfere with how the body's hormonal system functions. For adults who wear Shein products regularly, that's not an abstract risk. For children, it's more urgent. A toddler's jacket, purchased from Shein, was found to contain nearly 20 times the amount of lead that Health Canada deems safe for children's products. Lead can cause damaging health effects to the brain, heart, kidneys, and reproductive system. And children are especially vulnerable given their tendency to put clothing in their mouths. A 2025 Greenpeace report found that 7 of 18 Shein products tested contained high levels of PFAS, so-called forever chemicals, that are highly persistent in the environment and have been linked to certain cancers, reduced fertility, and immune system disruption. This came after Shein publicly pledged to improve its chemical management following a nearly identical 2022 Greenpeace investigation. The pledges apparently did not hold. What happens to your data? Every time someone opens the Shein app to browse, they're sharing more than their shopping preferences. The data privacy claims in the Texas lawsuit focus on Shein's alleged failure to disclose that consumer data may be accessible to the Chinese government. The complaint points to Chinese national intelligence and cybersecurity laws that can require companies to hand over user data, a legal reality that Shein's privacy policy allegedly never mentions. For consumers, that means the name, address, payment information, and browsing behavior tied to your Shein account may be subject to laws you didn't know existed when you signed up. On March 31, 2026, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center issued a formal public service announcement warning that many of the most downloaded apps in U.S. app stores are maintained by foreign companies, particularly Chinese firms, whose servers in China make them subject to laws compelling them to share user data with the Chinese government. Shein has also been criticized for requesting that users share data and activity from other apps, including social media, in exchange for discounts and special deals. The company was previously fined $1.9 million by New York State after a 2022 breach exposed the personal and credit card information of nearly 40 million customers. That breach wasn't disclosed properly, which was what triggered the fine. Why this matters beyond one lawsuit. The Texas action is at least the second lawsuit filed against Shein in 3 months, with parallel cases against Temu already in motion. This is a sustained enforcement campaign, not a one-off. For companies sourcing from international platforms, the message is direct. Product safety records and data practices are increasingly being examined together, and state regulators have shown they're willing to pursue both simultaneously. For consumers, the message is simpler. The price on the tag doesn't reflect the full cost. The chemicals in that $8 dress or those $12 shoes don't disappear when you put them on, and the data you hand over when you check out doesn't stay where you think it does. Shein maintains it disagrees with the allegations and is cooperating with investigations, but the independent testing record stands on its own, and more regulators and more consumers are reading it. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.